John, how are you today?
Oh, we're doing pretty well, Krishna. We can hear you, and chat is enabled, so the checklist is working.
Good, I guess.
Yeah,
I
it's
see your friend is not there. Snowy's there, but Christopher's not.
Christopher just left. We just watched another disc number 7 out of 25 of Mahabharata, the long version. So we're getting him into that,
Oh,
and yeah, it's been an
okay.
interesting week. My first wife died Saturday night. Lovely person.
Oh, dear.
A horrible disease, Lewy
Yeah,
body disease.
I
My
know.
God, yeah, awful. Anyhow, glad to be here.
Okay, glad to see you today. Today we're going to be reading about Shanti Ashram. It was, if you ever want to know what it was like in the early days, before Swami Trigunatita got there, there's a book called With the Swamis in America. And it basically tells the story of Shanti Ashram and Swami Trigunatita stay there. It's really it'd be like being out in the field for you, John. Carry your own water, chop your own wood, put up your own tent.
Well, temps we don't use,
Yeah.
but other than that, you're right.
But they did that. They lived that way for I think it was well over a year. A sturdy bunch of mostly German, Dutch, and I think mostly German and Dutch ancestry with the people that were staying there. And I think some of them actually had been farmers. But it was very bleak. It's very beautiful after rain. There's
I
tons
haven't
of
done it for a full
wildflowers.
year. I haven't done it for a full year, Krishna, but 11 months straight.
Yeah. But it still has a wonderful, wonderful feel to it. Where Swami Trigunatita lived in his house, they actually built a little house for him, a cabin for the shrine, which they had. And they still have. They have one retreat in Northern California out there in Shanti Ashram every year. And everyone goes out. They go out for a week. First, the men go out and kind of clear up everything. Then the nuns go out and clean up everything. And then they get the devotees come out and they set up the cooking facilities. I mean, it's really a big deal, especially for people in our age and, you know, circumstances, the way we live now today. But it was very interesting.
Do they have plumbing?
I'm sorry?
Do they have plumbing?
Yeah, they always had when they have the retreat,
Yeah.
yeah, no, all the swamis in Northern California usually show up there.
Okay.
Oh, they don't have rain. No, they don't have anything. They carry in all the water.
Oh,
And they carried it in back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. They wagoned it in with horse-drawn wagons. You'll see in this reading today what part of the duties were. Because we have now all gotten to the point where we know that Swami Trigunatita likes written down rules and regulations. He had them for almost everything. Swami Trigunatita was the exact opposite. So, and it's good to see you, Sarah and Leanne. Okay, today we're on Chapter 7, Shanti Ashram. In July of 1903, Swami Trigunatita had written from Los Angeles to his beloved brother-disciple, Swami Trigunatita. Rest assured, I shall pay special attention for the Shanti Ashrama. I shall try to dig a well and construct a few cabins there. I assure you I shall literally obey whatever you have told me. And in the late summer of 1903, Swami Trigunatita, not only wanting to obey his brother, but fully recognizing the importance of Shanti Ashram to the Vedanta work, had decided to take a group of students there for the month of November. This would be the first of 6 annual month-long retreats conducted by the Swami, which many of the students would forever remember as high points in their spiritual life. Shanti Ashram had been established and sanctified 3 years earlier by Swami Trigunatita. During his 3 long stays there between August of 1900 and June of 1902, the Swami had made this isolated and arid piece of land a holy place, vibrant with his unceasing thought of God, his meditation, his talks of Mother, his almost constant chanting from early morning until far into the night, and his weeks of tapasya in his cabin during the winter months when hardly any students were there. In the words of Ernest C. Brown, Swami Trigunatita, always chanting the name of Mother, filled the whole ashram with spiritual vibrations until every leaf, every rock, every blade of grass became saturated with the spirit of holiness emanating from his divine consciousness. After the departure of Swami Trigunatita for India, Brahmachari Guru Das, a disciple of Swami Abhedananda, who had been living at Shanti Ashram since early December of 1900 and had become deeply devoted to Swami Trigunatita, was left in charge of the retreat as a caretaker. Guru Das, whose pre-monastic name had been Cornelius Hirschbaum, it's a Dutch word, I can't pronounce it, and who would later become Swami Atulananda, was cut out for a contemplative life. He loved the ashram, the silence, the aloneness, and the students who lived there during Swami Trigunatita's stay had loved him, looking to him after the Swami's departure for encouragement and spiritual counsel. Now and then, in 1902 and 1903, one or another of Swami Trigunatita's disciples would visit the ashram, staying with Guru Das for varying periods of time, living as meditative a life as possible. Thus, from its beginning, the life of austerity and contemplation at the ashram had never been interrupted. A day or so before Swami Trigunatita had left for India, Guru Das had said to him half-jokingly, "Swami, I have lived with you for so long that I do not know much more about India than when I first met you." For seldom did the Swami talk about the secular side of Indian life. He replied, "My boy, I have given you the very best that India has to give. It is a great treasure. Keep it carefully." Writing of those days, those early days, Guru Das Maharaj, then Swami Atulananda, would later recall, "There were no formal rules or regulations in the ashram, but once a student asked the Swami to make some rules. 'Why do you want rules?' the Swami asked. 'Is not everything going on nicely and without formal rules? Don't you see how punctual everyone is? How regular we all are? No one is ever absent from the classes of meditations. Mother has made her own rules. Let us be satisfied with that.'" How well the ashram as a whole thrived without rules was a moot point. Many students found the weeks they spent there under the loving leadership of Swami Trigunatita a spiritual experience never to be forgotten. For others, spiritual life was too new a venture to be undertaken without the support of a strict routine. In any case, Swami Trigunatita grew ill towards the end of 1901, And in 1902, as we have seen earlier, he was called back to India by Swami Vivekananda for what was to be a vacation. Although the Swami lived for many years thereafter, he would never return to America. Now came Swami Trigunatita to take up where his great brother monk had left off and to infuse the land with yet another powerful spiritual current. As it happened, Swami Trigunatita himself came to love the ashram, and indeed did all he could to improve it, in time digging a well and constructing cabins, just as Swami Trigunatita had wanted. There are several accounts of life at Shanti Ashram during Swami Trigunatita's time, almost all of which are contradictory in detail, one from the other. In attempting to reconstruct the story, our solution to this problem is to quote from them all, letting one account or another speak for itself in its moments of what seems to be greatest truth. Our rudder and check for some of the years will be the San Francisco Monastery notes, scrupulously kept from June 1908 to January 1916. Let us start with the unpublished notes of Thomas Allen. Mr. Allen, a sturdy Scotsman, and his wife Edith, of English descent, had been close to Swami Vivekananda during his stay in San Francisco and East Bay. This was particularly true of Edith Allen, to whom Swamiji had been exceedingly kind. Thomas Allen had sometimes acted as Swamiji's usher during his public lectures, and had once, standing in the back of the lecture hall, swung a gold pocket watch like a pendulum to remind Swamiji that it was time for him to bring his lecture to a close. Swamiji had paid no attention to this prearranged signal, and totally unfazed, had gone on for another half hour or so. That was one of the many incidences of life with Swamiji that Mr. Allen never forgot. As far as can be gathered from old records and notes, the Allens dropped out of the Vedanta picture during the ministry of Swami Trigunatita, only to reappear later. They took initiation from Swami Trigunatita and remained staunch supporters of the Vedanta Society until their lives came to an end half a century or so afterwards. Excuse me. They were always on good terms with Swami Trigunatita, and at times laughing with him like old friends. It would appear, for instance, that someone had referred to Mr. Allen's wife as the other party, calling forth from the Swami the following postcard. How is the other party? I expected you last Sunday to come to see me to give a message regarding the other party. I hope that other party is doing perfectly well. So are you too, i.e. the other party's other party. I thank you for 10 and 5. What is the extra 5 for? Yours and him, a servant of the temple. Although the Allens were not among the first group of students that went to Shanti Ashram in 1903, Mr. Allen later did a considerable amount of research on the various pilgrimages, questioning the students, and his notes seem to me more accurate in many details than do the memories of Mr. Brown, who would much later write his reminiscences of Swami Trigunatita for Prabhupada Bharata. In some respects, however, Mr. Brown's account seemed much more reliable than Mr. Allen's. I think this is the way everyone writes notes. It's important to them, but is it really how it was, or just how they felt it was? And we shall accordingly give portions of it in square brackets throughout Mr. Allen's notes, which follow. Toward the end of the summer, and they think it's 1903, Swami Trigunatita decided to take a class of students to the Shanti Ashram for the month of November, and therefore he issued the following. Now remember, Swami Trigunatita likes his lists and his rules. Rules for those who would go to the ashram in November 1903. Number 1. Each person is to contribute $30 to the ashram. With this sum, the ashram will meet all his reasonable expenses regarding the round trip from San Jose to the ashram and his simple food there till the end of November, be it a week or more, almost utmost for a month. We will have only 2 meals there, one at 8 o'clock in the morning and another at 4 in the evening. Number 2. Those who intend to go there in November 1903 shall send their names and addresses and contribution of $30 by the last week of October to us at 40 Steiner Street, San Francisco. You will send them by the middle of October. The exact date and hour when we will send them by the middle of October, the exact date and hour when they are to meet us at San Jose. If they fail to meet us at that hour at San Jose, we will not be responsible for their trip in any way. It's punctuality. If anybody fails to send his name and address and contribution of $30 by the last week of October, we will, he hope, not go to the ashram in November 1903. Such persons may go there at some other time when they are able to take care of themselves in every way. Third rule, none but members of the Vedanta Society of the Ramakrishna Mission of any country whom we know well and those who deserve especial considerations can be entitled to go and stay there. Number 4, each person who will go there shall carry with him a tent, a platform. The ashram will not be able to manage about his lodging in any way. Number 5, each person shall also carry with him sufficient bedding, a cot, a stove of his own for his own tent, plate, cup, knife, fork, spoon, towel, napkin, lamp, soap, etc. Number 6, each person shall also carry back with him his own things, be it tent or platform or knife and fork or anything that belongs to him. These things that will be left behind shall belong absolutely to the ashram. So he shall not expect to get them when he will go there again. This rule does not wholly hold good in the case of wood cabins. If any person builds a wood cabin there, although that too entirely shall belong to the ashram, still he may use it whenever he'll go there. Number 7, those who will go there in November 1903 will have to cook or help in the kitchen by turn and do some work in the way of keeping the ashram clean and going on. All this amounts to 2 or 3 hours work every day. Besides, each person will keep his own tent clean and do his own washing. Number 9, every person must come to the general dining table at the fixed breakfast and dinner hours. No food shall be served at any individual tents or any other place, nor at any other time. This rule does not hold good in the case of a person who's very sick. Number 10, no person shall be allowed to cook his own food. If he likes to do it, he may do it at his own extra expense, besides the contribution of his 30, and from the things he will carry with him. Nothing for anyone's individual and separate cooking shall be given from the general stock of the ashram. Okay, now, leaving nothing to chance or to mother, Swami Trigunatita also made it out in advance a daily routine. 5:30 a.m., first bell, wake up. 5:45, get up. 6 to 6:30, private meditation on your bed. 6:30 to 7, dressing. 7 to 8, public duty. Prepare breakfast, 2 persons. Carry water, 2 persons. 7:45, first bell for breakfast. 7:55, second bell for breakfast. 8 to 9, breakfast. 9 to 10, public duty. Washing dishes, 2 persons. Chopping wood, 1 person. 10 to 11, meditation. 11 to noon, reading the Vedanta Sutras. 12 to 1, walk, which is optional. 1 to 2, rest. 2 to 3, public duty. 2 to 3, meditation. 3 to 4, public duty. Cooking dinner, 2 persons. Carrying water, 2 persons. 3:45 p.m., first bell for dinner. 3:55, second bell for dinner. 4 to 5, dinner. 5 to 6 p.m., public duty. Washing dishes, 2 persons. Carrying water, 2 persons. 6 to 7 p.m., rest. 7 to 8, meditation. 8 to 9, reading the Vedanta Sutras. 9 to 10, counting beads, optional. And then there's, I don't know what NB means. What? No, I don't have it. Half holiday twice a week regarding meditation and the like. Okay. Division of labor. 1, carrying water 6 to 8 buckets at a time, twice daily. 2, chopping and carrying wood, 1 hour daily. Cleaning, meditation, and Swami Trigunatita's cabins. 4, washing and wiping dishes twice daily. Cooking twice daily. Help in cooking twice daily. Mail carrying twice a week, 18 miles. Yeah. Those were the rules. A far cry from Swami Trigunatita's unstructured retreats that were handed out to the students who intended to go to the ashram. Each student was expected to cart a tent, a wooden platform, a cot, bedding, wood-burning stove, and other equipment to the ashram, and back by way of train and wagon over mountainous roads. Must have been dismayed by all this. Must have dismayed all but the most stalwart of souls. As it happened, there were enough tents and no double cots and stoves already at the ashram to accommodate 11 or 12 people. Moreover, Guru Das was there, making preparations for the approaching visit of the new Swami and his party of students. In a letter to Ida Ansel, Guru Das had written in September, "I wonder how many will come. We can shelter 12 persons now with what there is on the place, but they will have to go 2 in the large tents. I heard that Swami Trigunatita has all his rules made. Indira sent me some of them, referring to those who want to come in November." 3 weeks later, he somewhat nervously reassured Ida and himself. "I'm so glad that you can manage to come. There will be 12, and we will be able to get along nicely that way. May Mother only be present. The rest is all bosh and humbug," as Swami Trigunatita used to say. "We are having quite a rain at present, and it hampers me a little in the work getting things in shape. But I will get ready in time. I will be so glad to see you all after my long solitude. I hope Swami will like the ashram. Mother knows. It is all her work. We need not be anxious." To return to Mr. Allen's notes with Mr. Brown's brackets. To get to the ashram, the party left San Francisco by train for San Jose, some 60 miles south, where they stayed at a small hotel overnight. Early next morning, they left San Jose by stage drawn by 4 horses for the summit, 4,400 feet high of Mount Hamilton, where the Lick Observatory commands a view of all for miles all around. As the road wound upward, there unfolded before them the vista of the beautiful Santa Clara Valley, with its wonderful orchards and vines, while on the far side of the valley, the Coast Range lifted itself into the air, standing as a guardian to protect the fruits and crops from the strong ocean breezes. 2 miles from the summit, they halted for the midday meal, after which they continued their journey until the observatory was reached. The observatory contains the Lick telescope, known as one of the largest telescopes in the world, and comprises a group of buildings for scientific purposes, with the homes of the various workers in different departments. And that whole description was written by Mr. Brown, not Mr. Allen. Now we'll continue with Mr. Allen's. At the summit, the party was met by 2 wagons supplied by Mr. Paul Gerber. This is Mr. Brown's edition. Mr. Gerber and his family, who lived in the valley, had learned to love Swami Trigunatita as they did Swami Trigunatita, and had many friends among the elder students. The Gerber family constantly performed many little acts of kindness for the students in the ashram. All of this is Mr. Brown that I'm reading right now. It's all in brackets. He added this. As they left the observatory, Swami took the reins of the horses in the first wagon from Mr. Gerber and started them off at a lively pace along the top of the ridge, providing thrills for the passengers in the wagon. As in a number of places, the mountainside sloped sheet down from the road until Mr. Gerber again took the reins down the 7-mile grade to the Isabel Valley, through which the road led to the ashram. For a greater part of the way, the road was tough, as it followed the bed of a wide creek in the bottom of the valley, but improved as it climbed up among the foothills. As the wagons descended from the large range of hills of the San Antonio Valley, only 5 miles away from the ashram, the thrill of expectation among those who were to see the holy spot for the first time became intense. It was toward evening when they reached the gate at the edge of the ashram property and saw in the distance through the trees the tents and huts in which they were to dwell for the month to come. The party that went with Swami to the Shanti ashram in November 1903 was composed of Mrs. M.F. Fanny Gould, otherwise known as Shankari, Dr. Kate Brady, her Indian name Yoga Priya, Mrs. Mary Nelson, Hari Priya, Mrs. Bertha Peterson, Dira, who was mentioned earlier, Miss Ida Ansel, Ujjala, Miss Wolberg, Prasudi, Mrs. Agnes Rhodahamel, Nivriti, Miss Charlotte Brown, Gopika, Mr. Frank Rodenhamel, Satyanishta, Mr. Brown, Sajjana, Dr. Leonard Adams, Yatachitas. Yatachitas? Most of these students had been at the ashram with Swami Trigunatita for varying periods of time, so the place was full of happy memories for them. Gurudas, their old and beloved friend, with Mr. Brown, who had been there for 2 weeks, no doubt helping him, had cleaned their tents and put them in perfect order. After their day-long and arduous trip over the mountain, the arriving party also found that Gurudas had prepared a hot and bountiful meal for them. Mr. Allen's notes continue. Swami Trigunatita spent the first 3 days in retirement, during which time he fasted for 36 hours. During this period, the regular routine of working classes began, and continued for the remainder of the period in accordance with the schedule issued weeks before the party left San Francisco. Okay. The most informative account in a general way of Swami Trigunatita's first month-long retreat at the ashram was that of the youngest party, Ida Ansel, who had been at the ashram in earlier days with Swami Trigunatita. He had given her the Sanskrit name Ujjala, shining one or flaming upward, and had also called her baby or mother's baby, for she was young, perhaps in her early 20s, and had an innocence about her that was endearing. It was she to whom we owe the transcript of Swami Vivekananda's San Francisco and Alameda lectures, most of which she attended. By way of practicing her shorthand, she had most fortunately taken notes, and very much later, indeed in her old age, would transcribe those old shorthand notes, by then appreciative of the immense treasure they held. Considerably before that, she would write informally her reminiscences of Swami Trigunatita, extracts of which were published for the first time in With the Swamis in America and India as edited by Pravrajika Brahmaprana. About the November 1903 visit, she wrote, "The students were eagerly waiting to meet the new Swami, whom they only knew through letters from city members and rough drafts of lectures and class talks." Actually, only one student, Gurudas, had been staying at the ashram continuously. Since Swami Trigunatita had arrived in San Francisco, Mr. and Mrs. Rohrbach, members of the Home of Truth in Alameda, had visited in March 1903, leaving April 7th. Carl Peterson, Nirmala, may have made a visit there in June, and so also may have Miss Fanny Gould Shankari. Mr. Brown, who was at the ashram when the party arrived, was already well acquainted with Swami Trigunatita and his work. It was Gurudas alone who knew Swami Trigunatita only through letters and rough drafts of his lectures, the latter being the labor of Uji herself. Through these transcripts, through the letters of Ujjala and others, and through the rules Dira had sent on, Gurudas had come to know in advance something of Swami Trigunatita. At least he knew how very different he was from Swami Trigunatita. Although this difference would surely sometimes pain him, for his life at the ashram with Swami Trigunatita was deeply imprinted on his soul, he tried his best to adjust to Swami Trigunatita's methods. So well had he imbibed Swami Trigunatita's loving spirit and parting instruction, "Do not antagonize." Ujjala's account of the first day of Swami Trigunatita's first stay in the ashram continues. Here too, as well as in San Francisco, Swami Trigunatita made changes. We had been vegetarians the first 2 years under Swami Trigunatita, but fish and eggs had been permitted. Now these two protein items were omitted. A greater change was in the separation of men and women. In parentheses, it is not probable that this separation was enforced during the 1903 November retreat, but it is certain that in the years following it became a strict rule, not only in the ashram, but in the city as well. Men and women ate at separate tables, Swami sitting alone at a small table between the two, reading from the Gospel or other sacred book. The idea of reading seemed to be that while feeding the body, the mind should also be fed. It's time to stop, and we're in the middle of Uji's reminiscence. Provisions for work, study, and relaxation was made, and work schedules were assigned by the Swami himself. He himself, in later years, doing all the cooking. Twice a week we took a long walk in the hills, Swami leading and I just behind him, holding onto his belt. Now, there's a footnote. Ujjala had been lame from childhood. I think she had one leg shorter than the other or a club foot. I'm not sure which. Yeah. At the ashram, Swami Trigunatita wore a jersey sweater and knickerbockers, sparing his robe for meditation and class only. One afternoon a month, that is to say once during the month's retreat, we went to the afternoon teas at the home of the Gerber family about 5 miles down the valley. At these times he was jolly and full of fun, but there was no frivolity at meals or in the classes. His chanting, too, differed from that of the other Swamis, Vivekananda and Turiyananda. All were required to join in the chanting of Om Hari Om in a low tone for 5 or 10 minutes before meditation. Also, unlike the other Swamis, he liked some of the Christian hymns. Marching down to the meditation cabin, everyone would join in singing, "He leadeth me, O blessed thought, on words of heavenly comfort fraught. Where'er I go, where'er I be, still 'tis God's hand that leadeth me. He leadeth me, by his own hand he leadeth me. His faithful follower I would be, since by his hand he leadeth me." In spite of the changes, everyone benefited by his stay in the ashram and returned to the city with renewed zeal to carry on the work. And we'll stop there. Any questions or comments on this change at Shanti Ashram? Okay. Very different approach. Both direct disciples of Ramakrishna. Very different approaches. Okay, this Saturday we will have the Gospel of Ramakrishna with Swami Trigunatita. He's back now. And Sunday the 8th, we'll have Swami Dhyana Yogananda from Trabuco giving the lecture, When Life Feels Like Too Much. So, and as I say before, mark on your calendars the 21st, Karma Yoga Day. Come down to the convent 9:15, and we'll have a list of jobs to do. Okay, no questions or comments? Good to see you all. Okay. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Stay healthy.